Today I'm looking at the AlgoLaser Pixi, which is kind of an adorable little laser machine. This is going to be kind of a different review than I normally do, or different format of review than I normally do. Oh man, this is a lot. This is a lot smaller than I was expecting. This thing is tiny. That's way too loose. There's no way that's right. I do want to try one more thing, which is starting a fire. Typically, I spend a few weeks, maybe months, testing a product, and then I'll write a script with my kind of thoughts and feelings and film all of that. This time is going to be different. I'm just going to kind of do a candid thing here, unscripted. I'm just going to unbox this, and we're going to start using it together and test it together. I am planning on shifting back to my normal content of maker projects, how-to videos, that sort of thing. This is actually the last review I have planned for the immediate future anyway. So this isn't just going to become a laser review channel anyway, but still let me know if you like this style of review or if you prefer the kind of more structured, scripted videos with a lot of testing that I do beforehand versus doing all the testing right in front of you now. So you may be wondering why I chose to review this. I only review products that I'm personally interested in using. So this might seem like an odd choice, right? I've already got several other laser machines that are bigger, more capable, more expensive than this one. This is only, I want to say this is like $350 to $250, depending on which model you get. So it's not a very expensive laser machine, and it's really small. And that's actually why I was interested in this. When AlgoLaser reached out to me and asked if I was interested in reviewing this, my first thought was, it's just one of those little kind of toy machines. But the more I looked at it, the more it seemed interesting to me. It is really small. You know, this box is the entire thing. It's really small, and so it's easy to take to like trade shows or craft fairs and that kind of thing. And it has a built-in touchscreen where you can set up your cuts, your kind of do all of your file setup right there through the touchscreen. And I think through an app too. I think you can download an app and connect to it. So that seemed intriguing to me, right? Like if I was just at Open Source this past weekend. Next year I'm planning on exhibiting. This year I was just covering it for Hackster, but planning on exhibiting next year. Like if I wanted to set up a laser to, I don't know, make things to give to people or show people in action, something like this that's really small and portable would be interesting for that sort of thing. And it's really cute, so I figured, hey, let's take a look at it. Not much information on the box. It does say that there are 7 safety features, so that's cool. What are they? Well, I know at least one of them is the enclosure. You have to, I think you have to have it closed in order to run the machine, which is a good thing. I do not recommend laser machines without enclosures. I won't even review them anymore. And I think another safety feature it has is a pin code you can set on the control screen so that you can't even use it if you don't know that pin code, which I think is intended for parents that like get this for their kids, but they don't want their kids to use it unsupervised. Then that's a good way to do it. What the other safety features are, I'm not quite sure. I don't know if it has any kind of fire detection or anything like that. I'm going to attempt to test that on camera with you guys now in just a minute, but I don't know. So we'll be figuring it out all together. I haven't even opened the box yet, so let's get started with that. All right. Well, we have a quick start guide. So we'll definitely need to be looking at that. Some sort of window cover thing. I'm not sure exactly where this goes. It looks like it has magnets on it, so I'm guessing that'll clip on somewhere. Maybe on the top of the machine. This seems too small for that unless this machine is even smaller than I was picturing, but it might be. We have, okay, a stylus pen. From what I understand, you can use that touchscreen to like draw your own designs and then just automatically start engraving them and whatever. So drawing with your finger would really suck. So I guess it kind of makes sense that it has a pen or a stylus. Just warranty, thank you card. So whatever. Foam. Oh man, this this is a lot. This is a lot smaller than I was expecting. This thing is tiny. So from what I understand, this has a 100 by 100 millimeter working area. So that's pretty small, but even so, this is tiny. This is a little guy. All right. Let's see how tiny it actually is. It's really small, but it's cute. All right. Okay, some test material in here. We'll just go ahead and open this up. And I have a whole pile of material over here that different things to test on too. So we're not relying on just this. Basewood, of course, they always give you basewood because it engraves really, really easily. You wouldn't really use it for anything else because it sucks for most things, but it engraves nicely, so they always give you basewood. I had some over there anyway. Business cards with a coating of some kind. We're going to see if it can engrave metal. It might be able to because diode lasers can, well, engrave. They can mark stainless steel, and we're going to try that. But it's a lot easier to just cut through coatings on metal if you're engraving metal, so that's why that's in there. Tiny little Allen key for, I guess, this. It does fit the screws right there, so I don't know. Brush off the lens, blah, blah, blah. Well, it looks like a tiny little hammer. Not sure what they intend you to use this for. Maybe for setting the laser height. Very cheap looking. Okay, and a USB-A female to USB-C male, which, okay, so we have a USB-C port on the back here. A big part of the advertising is that you don't have to use a PC to use this, right? You can use the app. I think there's an app, or just everything through the touchscreen. So, but I guess maybe you can connect it to your computer to do some things. I'm not planning on doing that. I'm planning on doing everything through the built-in touchscreen and the app if there is one, because I think that's the main selling point of this. Put on the screen here if you can use a PC. Oh, and we can see that this is the cover for the top. It just clips on there. God, this thing is a lot smaller than I was expecting. First, I was thinking it was going to be like yay big. I don't know why, but yeah, this is even smaller than I was expecting. It's really cute. I guess, okay. So the enclosure opens up like that. Interesting. So we do get an exhaust duct, which I'm not sure exactly where they expect you to route that. I don't know if an air purifier was even an option for this. I guess you could connect one. I have a bunch of them around, but I'm not planning on doing that. I guess you could just stick this out of a window if you wanted to, but I'm just going to run it how it is because that's what I expect everybody will be doing with this. Power adapter. There's something crammed in here. I think it's safety glass is crammed in this tube. It doesn't want to seem to come out. Oh, no, it's not safety glass. What is this? What is this? I don't know. It might be, looks like it has magnets on there. Although two of them are sticking out. I don't know if that's on purpose, but it looks like it might, maybe it goes onto the laser module. I'm not sure. Guess we'll find out. Yeah, so the fume, I don't know if we can get this on one of the cameras, but the fume extractor is just a little PC fan down in there. A tiny, tiny fan. So not much. Then we get the peel. Middling satisfaction on that one. I hate that every laser manufacturer does this. They put on, you know, these plastic shields, and they're laser cut and formed, but they always leave the film on here, and you can never tear it off cleanly. It drives me nuts. It's like, come on guys, just take off the film like before you assemble it. I refuse to leave the film on there because I'm not a barbarian. See, it tore back there, and there's going to be a little remnant stuck back there, and it's going to drive me nuts. I can't get to it without tweezers. Okay, so we have, you know, the main enclosure down here. Fits into place. Wonder it. Yeah, there's a switch there. I can hear it. So I guess it can detect if that's open, which is good. So I guess they already removed the film from that. So that goes on top. I guess we're all ready to go to start testing it. Plug that into my handy dandy extension cord, and then when we're ready, I will plug that in. But let's see what the quick start guide has to tell us before we get started, because I am the type of person that reads instruction manuals before I start using things, because I'm a nerd. I like instruction manuals. We'll probably be cutting out large portions of this part of the video because watching me read is not going to be interesting. It only shows this little guy on the 10-watt laser, not on the 3-watt or 5-watt lasers. Not sure why that is. And it's 455 nanometers laser, if you're curious, which is normal. They pretty much all diode lasers are about that. Packing list, focal gauge. So according to the manual, this is the focal gauge. Calls this a smoke pipe, which is fun. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it looks like these on the back are, I guess, to set the rough height, and then there's a knob on the inside to fine-tune the height for your focus. So that's good to know. Wonder, let's just go ahead and take these out and see if we can move this, because I'm curious now if this whole thing should slide up. And yeah, okay. Oh, it clicks into place in each spot. That's nice. Ooh, and I can get to that scrap of, no, I still can't. I was hoping I could get to that scrap of film that got left behind. Although, that's kind of dumb. When you raise it up high, now your enclosure is just leaving that all exposed, which is not good. I'm not missing something, right? There's no way to know. So yeah, if you raise it up on the back here, you have to just leave that exposed. I don't like that. This is the same problem I had with the laser pecker. When you lift up the laser pecker to use like the rotary attachment, you basically, it's the same sort of thing where you're leaving all that exposed. Then if the laser reflects off of something or whatever, then you have a chance for it to escape, which seems like a really bad idea to me. Okay, well, I guess in that case we will keep it in its bottom position if we can. I don't think I have anything thick enough that I would need to raise it up. So hopefully we can just keep it here. And I'm just going to go ahead and recommend you don't lift it up, because having even a 10-watt laser isn't a huge amount of power, but even with 10 watts and wearing glasses, like you can have, if a reflected beam, you know, can burn you, can set fire to your house, you know, blind your dog. I don't think that that's a good thing. Question is if we can even, with this on there, if there's even still enough room to use it in its bottom setting like this. By the way, there is a rotary attachment on the back, which you would need to raise it up on here to get that rotary attachment underneath. And then you have that problem, like I said, of reflecting beams, which is especially an issue with the rotary attachment because you're presumably engraving cylindrical things, right? So if that beam bounces off at such an angle, and if you're engraving something reflective like aluminum or stainless steel or whatever, you could be reflecting that beam right back out of the enclosure completely. Speaking of, there is a gap here, which is strange to me. I'm not sure why. Maybe that's for airflow. It's not ideal, but I guess at least it's pointing down at your table. I still don't like that, but I guess it's okay. Probably in reality not gonna hurt anything, but my opinion is that lasers should be completely enclosed. Speaking of these plastic enclosures, I'm not sure. These are the translucent panels are designed to stop the wavelength of light you're working with, right? Or they should be. But I wonder about the plastic of the enclosures. If the beam reflects and hits, up here over here, is it just going to melt through that? If anybody can answer that question, I'd love to know, because I don't know the answer to that. On the laser pecker, if you saw my review of that, I had the beam reflect up and melt part of the dog cone. So seems like it's possible. I don't know. All right, let's see if we can raise this up and get it. Oof. Well, that was loud. See if we can raise up the laser and get this on there. Okay, so there's quite a bit of adjustment there. So hopefully it should be okay with it all the way down. So it's really hard to show, but the only way I can see that this goes on there is like this, but then it just falls off. So that can't be right. That's way too loose. There's no way that's right. I guess I'll put this on there and just have it vent that away, because I don't have a window in my office here that can open, and I don't really want to set up a actual purifier because this hose is way smaller than the hoses for all the purifiers I have, which means I'd have to, I don't know, find or make some kind of adapter for it, 3D print adapter or something. And since I've already started recording this, I don't want to do that. So we'll just have it blowing that away. All right, so that just clips on there, simple enough. And it does say to do that, unscrew those and lift it up for thicker things and the rotary attachment, which I wouldn't advise doing, because again, then your enclosure is not doing anything. Okay, so this is talking about the safety features. There's tilt detection and vibration detection, which is pretty cool, I guess. It mentions an SD card, but I don't know where you would put it. Oh, with light. So it works with light burn, which seems like overkill. Also with laser gerbil, GRBL. I can never remember how people are supposed to say that. Once again, 3 watt, 5 watt, 10 watt doesn't have, or the 3 and 5 watt don't have this. The 10 watt does go like that, but it's like, so it'll just come off like immediately. So I guess I guess I'm just going to try it without this, because I don't see how you could actually run a job with that on there so flimsily. I'll focus it for the base wood they gave us. This would be at our origin. Here would be 0, 0. Based on the markings, at least, would be our origin. Do the focusing thing. Have a long way to go. Let's see. At least this is pretty quick. This actually, as far as manual focus mechanisms go, isn't bad. I like it better than the Creality block system, at least, because that's annoying. And it's also worth noting that this is not like, it wiggles a lot. These rails are, I don't know, tiny, like 5 millimeters maybe. So there's not a lot of strength there, but look, it shouldn't matter because there's not a lot of force being put on that. All right, so let's plug her in and turn her on. 24 volts at 2.5 amps, so not a lot of power, but then you don't need much power for a little 10-watt laser and a tiny little motion system. Okay, so power plug turned in, let's turn it on. Now we'll go OS. Loading. Okay, so we can select our language. Let's see. Oh, okay. Pretty good language selection. I think I'll stick to English since that's the only language I know. Let's see. Next, Wi-Fi for 2.4G. Connected successfully. Okay. Set a passcode. Well, I don't want a passcode, so I guess I'll skip. I'm just going to finish. Oh. Okay. New firmware detected. Yes, we would like to update. Always got to update. Oh no, it's showing my IP address. Nobody hack me. So let's see if there's any. See if there's projects already on here. Okay, example projects. Cool. All right, so we'll try doing Smile, and let me make sure that this is. So it does seem like that's 0. Yeah, this is the. I think this is the origin based on where it looks like the laser is. Is right there. So we'll try doing Smile. Material, well, it's saying MDF. They didn't give me MDF, they gave me basewood. So, but if it works in MDF, it should work in basewood. Focusing, adjust the laser focus to the surface of the object. We already did that. Yeah. Set the engraving origin and preview range. What does this do? Oh, okay. So it does have a preview function. Okay. I see. So this is actually really small. So I'm gonna move it up a little. So just so it's not coming off the wood at all. And then does that set the origin? Hopefully it did. So let's see if it. Yes, it did. So just moving it right there sets the origin. So now we know where it's going to engrave. All right. Start. Oh, okay. Oh. Don't tell anybody I forgot to put these on. Let's see what settings we have. We have speed at 100%. Power at 100% by 100%. I don't know why there are two settings there. I guess that's minimum and maximum. Interesting that there's a 200% power. So we can go more power than speed, 100% to 200%, or 1% to 200% for speed also. Wow. So that, yeah, this was, I mean, so it was meant for MDF, and I did basewood, which was definitely cutting way deeper than it needed to. That's almost cutting all the way through. I don't know how well you can see it, but it looks like it's like, I don't know, 80% of the way through the thickness of that. So that's good to know. We'll see if we can adjust that to do a lot lighter. When I click start, it's just going to start. So I guess I'll have to like start it and then immediately change that setting, but then it's going to start cutting at that setting, which I don't want it to, because then the top of the thing, or like in this case where it starts, I think was the top of the L. that's going to be darker than everything else, but let's just see what happens. Let's change this to like, I don't know. Yeah, sure. And then let's change the speed to, sure. Okay, so that definitely did speed up. Did it reduce the power? Actually, I guess what I should have done is kept this at 100% speed and then changed just the power, and then we can see if that did something. I suppose we can stop it because we don't actually care about this design, right? We just want to see if changing that power setting did something. So it was running at 26%, well, 100% times 26%, whatever. So let's see if that did something. So it stopped. Oh. Finish. Okay, well that's definitely way better as far as engraving goes. But you can see where it started before I was able to change the settings. It did start, at the higher power. I would have. So this engraving does look a lot better. I would have liked to be able to the system of 100% times a percentage of 100 is very strange to me. I don't know, especially because you can go over 100%. You can do 100% times 200%. How does that work? So it's not just the laser power. That's strange. But at least we know that adjusting that slider adjusts our power. So that's something. Let's see if we can try drawing something and actually cutting. We'll try doing the drawing and see if we can cut. So so we'll do algo sketch. Oh, I should try using my finger. Oh, so your finger does work. So you don't actually need the stylus. That's good to know. Converting birch plywood, basswood plywood. Pretty sure this is basswood. Speed, power. Interesting. Why can we not set it to the 200% or whatever that it told us before? Maybe we have to change that. And maybe we have to change that. But then that's annoying because if we have to change that only when we're running it, then we're always going to get that beginning of it. It's going to be different because we have to change, it's going to start and then sure. Quality, okay. High, okay. Highest, that's how many lines per millimeter it's doing, which is it going to try to, I just realized I think it might try to cut this as a raster, scanning back and forth instead of following the path, which is what I kind of thought it was going to do, but this makes me think it's going to do it like an engraving, just scanning line, 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 which is very weird. Oh, I see. Okay. What does that do? Oh. Okay, so this is how we can adjust the size and position of it. Okay. Now we should be able to. So it looks like every time you do this preview, it goes around 3 times, which is kind of annoying because I only need to do it once, which means I have to wait for it. Try starting, and then I'm going to turn it up to 200 as soon as it goes. Yeah, it's processing, even though I just drew lines, it's not processing it as like a path, like a vector. It's doing it as a raster and just scanning, which is annoying. You should at least have the option to just draw paths, because this makes sense for engraving, but if you're cutting, it doesn't make any sense. Hopefully through the app we'll be able to just set it as paths for cutting. because this is just silly to cut a rectangle out. Just a, the lines of a rectangle scanning back and forth. That's dumb. But I suppose it does make sense. I mean, the point of that function is to draw things to engrave, right? You're like, you have your kids draw a smiley face and then engrave it or whatever. So it makes sense, I suppose. It's just not what I was expecting when I was drawing lines. Okay, well, this is boring, so let's stop that. Finished. We'll see if it actually cut anything. We'll see if it cut through the wood at 200%. Well, no, it didn't, but it's just so, I mean, doing a line like that is so weird. Okay. And it's not, actually looking at it, it's kind of, I'm not sure how well this will show up on camera, but the lines, the edges, because it's, again, it's scanning, are real, the timing is like off. It's doing it real rough right there. Same for over here. Get a fresh piece of wood. We'll try doing the algo type function instead of the algo sketch. See what happens with that. Double click to enter text. Okay. Okay. Font. Oh, so we get two whole font choices: print or handwriting. We don't even get like a sans serif font. That's messed up. Would have expected at least a handful of font choices. That sucks. Who wants a serif? All right. Convert to image, yeah, power, quality. So, mode scan. So it seems like it's going to do the same thing even with the text. I was kind of hoping that with text, it would follow the paths, but it seems like it's just going to scan this too. All right, well. I think I actually want that speed higher, I think, for this. I mean, it's going pretty quick there at the 200% speed. Well, 200% speed times the 30/30 speed. So I guess it's 60/60. And now I'm doing it at 100% power. But at least this is quick. I mean, not like crazy fast, but not too bad. Okay. So, I mean, it's not horrible, but I really hate that it's doing. Let me close that so you don't hear it. I really hate that it's doing this as a scan, especially because it doesn't seem to be very accurate, that the timing of it. So you get like a little bit of, like a stepped edge, almost like aliasing. It's not technically aliasing, but it looks kind of similar, and it's not horrible, but it isn't great. Okay, we'll try one more thing before, because I'm not really impressed with the algo sketch and algo type functions. So we'll do one more thing, which is I'll try doing like kind of like an actual drawing as good as I can try, and then we'll do that, and then that'll be enough for getting an idea of the algo type and algo sketch functions that I just don't like. And then we'll try the app, which I think will hopefully make things a lot better. Well, that's weird. Why is laser power 3 watt? Do I have to set this to? That was set to 3 watt, but it's a 10 watt laser. Okay. It's weird that I had to change that myself. Motion mode, high precision, high efficiency. Well, kind of want that to, I guess, be balanced. So maybe that was, like I said, that accuracy of that edge. Maybe if it was on high precision, it would be better. Let's try that. High precision. All right, so we'll try doing a sketch, and then we'll do the app, because the app will hopefully redeem this, because right now I'm not really not impressed. But also I apparently had the laser was set to 3 watts and I had it set to high efficiency instead of hyper precision. So maybe those things will help, even though I don't really like this. I don't know how this interface is kind of annoying. Okay, so there aren't any other tools like I don't know, like bucket tools or paint fill or anything. Well, in that case, so all we get is the pen. Definitely not a responsive drawing interface. Not that I'm any kind of artist anyway, but when I do draw, I draw on an iPad with an Apple Pencil, and it's definitely easier. Okay, so that's our dumb A drawing. Let's see if we can, what it'll look like when we power 100%, speed medium. But so if it's power 100%, is it the same as the 100% before, or was that 100% of 3 watts and now we're at 100% of 10 watt? I don't know. Let's try, I don't know, let's put that at 50% and we'll put the speed at fastest because I don't want to wait. Quality, sure, we'll do highest because we did low before, so no border. Oh. Contour shape cutting border selection. Material thickness, interesting. So you can cut out the outside of it. Let's try it. Thickness, I think this is, it looks like 1/8 inch thick, so what is that, 3.125? Oh. I guess we'll go for 4 millimeters. 3.14, okay. Wait, did I actually do it? Okay. 50% fast, sure. Okay. It is interesting to note, I can see the wood moving. So I think there's a fan blowing air down on it, which I guess is good for, it's not I don't think it's an actual like air assist because there's no real air pump, but it is better than nothing. And so now it's trying to cut the border. At least it's doing that as an actual line and not just scanning. See if it cuts it out. Oh, I took off my glasses and forgot to put them back on. Oh well. Oh yeah, it did cut it. I don't know why it's continuing to cut. I thought I only told it to do 1 pass, but apparently it's doing multiple passes. And there isn't a it took away my stop button, so I can't stop it. Wonder if this, oh, okay, so I can stop it using that at least still. All right, finish. Okay, so I cut it out, so that's cool. Yeah, my little face. I'm not sure how it shows that border size because it wasn't that whole canvas. So I guess it just does a a margin. What? Why did it just do that? You saw, hopefully you saw that. I don't know why it just flashed. That's concerning because I had that open. It shouldn't have been, if I had I think I didn't have my hand under there. That's concerning. let's just go ahead and close that. But the engraving does look a lot better than before. So I guess that that precision versus efficiency setting does make a difference, because it looks a lot better. Those are actually pretty clean engravings. Okay, so that's not too bad. I can see. I mean, I think it has limited utility, but that Algo sketch I could see being kind of cool for, like, if you're you have kids and you want, I don't know, maybe even like in a school or something, like a teacher, if you have kids, want to have them try, they can sketch a little thing on here and then engrave it. That's kind of neat, I guess. I think really the app and using, hopefully the app, because I don't, like I said, I'm not planning on doing the PC connection, because I think that completely defeats the purpose of this machine. But with the app, hopefully I can do a little bit more. Before I switch to doing the app, I do want to try one more thing, which is starting a fire. So I want to see if that's a safety feature this has, if it has fire detection. So I have some cardboard, and we'll just kind of run it really high and see if we get a little bit of a flame and if it detects that or not. Okay, so even though I'm at 10 watts now, I can still turn it higher. Not getting any flames. Let's bring that speed way down. Oof, it's getting real smoky in here though. Okay. All right. Well, so that's a fail. So I don't know about the fire detection. I'm not even sure if that's a feature this has. I'll look on the website and see if it's a specification. I'll put it on the screen here if it has fire detection or doesn't. Whether that works or not, I'm not sure, because it's not wanting to start a fire. So there is an app, AlgoLaser app. Let's see, what do we want to test this on? Well, how about some black acrylic? If you don't know, diode lasers like this, blue diode lasers, 455 nanometers is blue. It's visible blue light. Don't really cut they don't cut clear or translucent acrylics really at all. Opaque acrylics, kinda, it depends on the color. They can usually cut black opaque acrylic. Once you get to lighter colors, it gets real iffy, but it should cut the black. So allow while using app. This device connected to the network, yeah. Searching for device. Okay, mobile app connection in progress. I guess we'll just do ALM 10W BD. That's the closest. Hopefully it works. So I'm going to try to, hopefully the Insta360 will pick up what I'm doing here. Control. Okay. Well, let me move that way. Why not that way? Turning on the laser option, is it? No. Oh, I don't want it. It's saying laser closed. Light closed. Is there a light? No, I don't think there is. So it's weird that that's an option. Fan? No. But then if I do laser closed open, it seems to imply that that's going to turn on the laser, which obviously we don't want to do. Okay. Carving. Okay, let's see. What do we have? Library, album, text, history, file, barcode, QR code, puzzle, draw. Oh, we have shapes. What's fun? We have some shapes. That's cool. Some real basic shapes. Well, let's see what this does. I think it's just going to do it as a raster. Direct. Well, at least we can change. That's kind of cool. Okay. So we can do. Okay. So I want it as a vector, but I want it as a vector contour without fill. And then quality highest but we're not scanning, so none of this should matter. Laser power, 100% speed. Oh, we can go fast on the speed here. We can go faster than we could in the through the interface there. That's interesting. Speed, power, 100%. Yeah, speed, fast. Okay. Well, let's try it. I'm curious if it's going to do the vector properly. Start. Okay. So if on the screen, I guess when we're doing it through the app, we lose the control through the screen. Although I wonder if no, it doesn't do anything. Okay. Confirm to start engraving. Attention, it is dangerous. Okay. Okay. Interesting that the screen's just off. We don't get anything on the screen anymore. Completed. That was fast. Okay. I couldn't even really see what it was doing. Let's see. So it did it like it was for the for these lines that I drew. It did those like the outlines of the lines. I saw that there was a center line option. Maybe that will change that. So do center line. Oh, contour versus center line. Okay, yeah, I think that is what that does. So let's try that again. It was going real fast and not really engraving much, so let's try changing that to, oh gosh, I don't know. It was going real fast. Let's do it 2000, which is a quarter of, it was at 8,000 millimeters a minute before, so let's change that to 2,000 millimeters a minute. Try that. And now we're doing center lines. I'm curious how it's going to do the center line of the filled in triangle, so we'll see. Oh, vector is so much better than raster. I mean, obviously, if you're doing an image or something, you have to do raster, but yeah. Okay. It's hard to, I know it's going to be hard to see on the camera, but the triangles are different, which is strange to me because it should have been doing it as a single line. Let's try it again with something that we can see better. It's also interesting that I didn't change it or move it, but it's engraving in a different place. I guess I should have honed it again before doing that, but it's interesting that it seems to have lost its position. That was real quick. Okay, so yeah, it did just do the outside of that. Well, I guess that's something to keep in mind, where if you want to just draw lines, you can't really, it seems like, do that. But you can draw shapes and then do the outlines of shapes, like almost like their vector art. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. I wonder if let's see if there's any other cool functions. File, barcode, QR code. That's kind of interesting. Let's try doing a QR code, maybe on one of these business cards, because that's something you might want to do, right? Is if you're at a trade show, maybe, I don't know, put the website of a QR code or something on there. See if it lets us do that. And presumably we can, okay, yeah, we can put our own information in here. So I was able to turn up the power to 5% for the preview because it was too hard to see. This I actually do need to make sure I'm wearing my glasses because there's metal under there and that could reflect. All right. Running the QR code, and then afterwards we'll see if it can recognize it and load it, because that would be cool. This is going to take, according to this, it's going to take us almost 13 more minutes to finish this, so I'll probably just start talking again when it's done. Oh, it's warm. Curious if it, so, I mean, there's definitely some contrast there. It didn't engrave all the way through, or didn't remove all the paint, I guess, but it seems like it might still be readable. Let's see if phone will detect it. Let's see. Yeah, it did. That's cool. So the QR code worked. It generated it properly, pulled up my website, and did it enough that it's readable. So that's cool. That worked pretty well. I think what I will do now is, I don't want to subject you guys to this process for every single material I'm going to cut. So off camera, I'll stop recording for a little while, and I'm gonna have a bunch of other materials to try cutting. And so I'll just run through these, try a little, small engraving on each of these, and then I'll record and kind of show you guys the results and if there was anything new I found in the app while going through these. So see you in a minute. Okay, so I ran several other tests here after the QR code. I started with a leather patch, and that engraved really nicely. I actually went too deep here, but the engraving quality is nice. The text features, the text tool in the app is a lot better than the text tool built into the machine with a touchscreen. You get more fonts, you can adjust the size, you can tell it if you want it to be filled in or just the outlines, that kind of thing. There's like 20 fonts, I think, in there, which is pretty good. It's definitely a lot better than the 2 that you get in the through that interface. So that's cool, but it's not perfect. I did it on here, and you can see, I don't know why it just dropped that part of the H. No clue why. So it engraved well on leather, on cork. Did really well on that too. After that, I tried on a brass coin, and it you're not going to be able to see it because I can barely see it with my eyes, and so it's not going to show up on the camera. But it did a very, very faint trace, but not enough to be useful. So that shouldn't be as much of a surprise. Blue diode lasers don't generally work on brass like this, but you kind of want like a fiber laser for that. But I thought it'd be worth trying, and yeah, it's no go. Then I tried stainless steel, and this actually worked pretty well. It's just like a little dog tag. Midge is my dog's name, and it was working well, and then it like shifted in the middle of the job, because it was kind of resting on that ring, which this ring doesn't come off. It's not the kind that comes off, so I had to kind of set it there. Anyway, it like shifted a little bit, which ruined the cut. It got, I think it was like around the G when it like shifted, and then that messed up. And then when it went back to trace that, the trace lines were all completely off. So, but it was working well before that. So this will work for stainless steel like this, which is really cool. Actually, it worked well enough that I can feel the engraving. It's actually oxidizing it. You can, I don't know if you can see my thumb, some of it's coming off. So that's the way blue diode lasers work with stainless steel, is they're oxidizing the surface. Well, kind of. Anyway, we don't need to get into the details, but yeah. So if you want to do stainless steel, you can. Final thing is a piece of like slate, like a slate coaster. And this was supposed to be a picture of my dog in like a dot matrix, in that dot matrix style that I showed you in the app. And it engraved fine, but I had my settings wrong, and I engraved too deep. So the parts that are supposed to be even like the lighter parts of the image are just, everything's completely washed out. It's like if you turn the white levels on your image, like all blasted them, but it doesn't really matter. The idea is that it's, I wanted to show you that it can engrave slate, and this is the only piece of slate I have, so you can use it to engrave slate too. So pretty good for 10 watts, which it's not a ton of, that's really not much power at all, but it's enough for all of these materials to do, which is pretty good. I think that's what I would expect from a 10-watt laser, and that's what it did. So I think the question is this a good machine? Should you buy it? Do you want it? Do I like it? All that kind of stuff. I checked, and the cost for this is $330 for this exact machine. in red. The black and red are the same price. There's a kit available, I think, that has like the rotary and stuff. But for exactly what I've shown you, it's $330 for the 10-watt model, which is, I think, is a good price. The biggest competition, from what I can tell, the closest competitor to this is the SaneSmart, the Genmitsu kiosk machine, which is very similar. It's this pretty similar in size. The working area is the same, 100 by 100 millimeters, and it's also available with the same 3-watt, 5-watt, or 10-watt lasers, and it costs $300. So right around the same price, right around the same capabilities, right around the same size. Very similar machine. The big difference is that the SaneSmart, the kiosk, doesn't have that touchscreen interface. You can only do it through an app or with the PC software if you put the files on a USB drive or a SD card or whatever. So I think that's going to be for people that want a machine of this size and like kind of this form factor. That's going to be the deciding factor, most likely, is whether you want that touchscreen interface or not. I think based on what I saw, it is kind of useful. Most things, if you can, you'll want to just do through the app because has a lot more capability, and that the functions are better. Like I said, like the text, you have more font options, all that. So you'll want to use that app if you can. But for situations where you can't, like say, so I was connected through Wi-Fi. If there's no Wi-Fi available, or you don't have your phone with you, or you want multiple people to be able to work with it, and you don't want to be passing your phone around, I think that is a pretty good use case for having that touchscreen to do some simple things. It's pretty cool that it's there and that you can use it without having to use your smartphone at all. What I don't like about it is I don't like that height adjustment for if you're using the rotary, or if you're going to do like really thick material. That having that enclosure gap makes me really nervous. I don't really consider that acceptable for a laser machine. Especially not something kind of like aimed at like kids and like families and stuff. Like I don't love that. It's too easy for when I was engraving this, if this had been at an angle a little bit, laser reflects off of that into your kid's eyes or whatever. It's just, I don't like it. So if you do get one of these, I recommend it. Just use it like this. Don't do that height adjustment. Don't do the rotary. Maybe somebody will tell me why I'm wrong, and it's actually totally safe to do that. I don't see how it could be, but a lot of laser manufacturers seem to think it's okay, so maybe I'm the crazy one, but I don't like that. As far as other things I don't like, I think that what you can do through the touchscreen interface could definitely be better. Like only having 2 font options, one of them a serif font and one of them a handwriting font, is kind of crazy to me. They should have a lot more than that. But that's pretty easy to fix with a firmware update, which they will hopefully do after they see this video. And then I really wish that the vector, like there was a better option for doing like vector art, that kind of thing, through that interface, because doing everything as a raster like scan line is just weird to me. It's really inefficient. If you have a circle, you're going through and hundreds of times when you could just draw a circle. It's kind of silly to do it that way. Through the app, you do have those better vector options, but even there, it was, as you saw, with these tests, it wasn't working how I would kind of expect it to. It was still a little weird, but at least you can do it through the app, so that's good. But like not explaining how to attach this, that was annoying. And the fact that apparently this just doesn't stay on and it's not explained why it's even there, that's annoying. I think that this machine is pretty cool for what it is. A very, very small, very compact, affordable machine that with 10 watts is a pretty decent amount of power, enough to do some, genuinely useful stuff. You know, you can engrave on things, you can cut. So that's great. You know, I think it's 10 watts isn't a lot, but it is enough to get some stuff done. I think that this machine is worth recommending if you understand all of that, right? If you want to have it at home, maybe for your kids to use with your supervision, you know, set that pin code so that they can't just, you know, be running it without you, but so that, you know, you have something to work with them on. That's not an expensive machine, not some big crazy thing that's going to take up a lot of space. Or maybe for like schools, teachers, I'm not really sure. I don't know much about kids, guys, but whatever age is appropriate for that kind of thing, maybe middle school to have in like a science classroom or something like that. And then the last thing, you know, trade shows and craft fairs, that kind of thing. I think that will be a big selling point for this. If you're taking a bunch of items to a craft fair, you know, it's great to be able to customize them right there at your booth to give to people. You know, if you have maybe keychains ready to go and then customer wants their dog's name engraved on the keychain, you know, that kind of thing, you can do it right there at the booth. They can see it happening. And you can do it through, you know, through the touchscreen interface if you want to use one of those two fonts, or through the app if you want the other fonts. So yeah, I think it's a pretty cool machine. I like it. I think it's pretty cute. Will I actually use it? I don't know. Maybe I'll take it with me to shows or something. I don't know. I won't be using it here at home because I have much better, much bigger, much more powerful laser machines all around my house. So there's no real reason for me to use this at home, but I might, I don't know, take it with me somewhere, use it for something. And it's real cute. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and let me know if you liked this style of review video. It's a lot different than what I normally do. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, so let me know if you liked it. Okay, thanks for watching.